Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have news about another swing voter focus group. I have listened to hours and hours of Trump voters, Trump 2024 voters, so you don't have to. So, like I said, these are North Carolina residents. They voted for Biden in 2020, then flipped to Donald Trump in 2024. So, there were two groups, there were 7 people in each of the groups. And here's the breakdown. So, 2 of them said that they are registered Democrats. One of them is a registered Republican, and then 11 out of the 14 are independents. They asked them, what emotion do you feel when you see Donald Trump on your TV or device? These were not good. I have to tell you guys, I have seen the progression throughout the year of these focus groups going from bad to worse for Donald Trump and the Republicans. This was one of the worst so far for him. So 2 of them said they feel concerned. 1 said embarrassed. 4 said disappointed. 2 said frustrated. 1 said indifferent. That was the best one. And then 2 said anxious. And then they asked them, overall, do you approve or disapprove of Donald Trump's administration so far? Only 3 out of the 14 said overall, on the whole, taking everything into account, 3 out of the 4 approve. 11 out of the 14 disapprove. Take a listen to why a few of them said that they disapprove of who they just voted for. And more of these I've been sharing in the FAFO videos, and I will have more for you to come, but check this out.
In general, I think financial unrest, things are all over the board as far as being able to purchase the type of things that we used to purchase without such an elevated act of inflation.
Lack of consistency. One day it may be we're going to give a $2,000 incentive. The next day we're going to, put $250 million into revamping a ballroom at the White House. It's just, there doesn't seem to be any real consistency about the actions or follow through with what the president's saying.
I had hoped that he would attempt to put an end to these forever wars and supporting these countries that we keep sending all of our tax dollars to, but that hasn't come to fruition and led to my disappointment so far.
Inflation. I know in my community, a lot of people are trying to decide between purchasing something as simple as milk and bread or paying their student loans.
So like I said, that was just a small sample of all of the complaints from these 2 groups. Like I said, I will have more audio clips from these groups coming for you guys. They also asked them, and this is the key, this is what I keep cautioning Democrats about. They asked, if you could go back and do it over again, would you vote for Kamala Harris? Only 1 out of the 14 said that they would. 1 said, I wouldn't vote at all. And then all of the others said that they would still vote for Donald Trump if it was between him and Kamala Harris. So I know people like to think Kamala Harris was just a great candidate. She didn't have enough time, blah, blah. Guys, I'm begging you. I am begging you. She was not a good candidate. Please hear me. She is not going to win. Now, the positive, I guess what we can hang our hat on is that there will be a primary. So, unlike what happened last year when she was basically just anointed and put into the position, there will be a primary, and whoever the nominee is going to have to be voted through. But understand, it cannot be Kamala Harris or she will lose again. So even the 2 Black women in these groups said, yeah, no, I didn't like her, wouldn't vote for her. If I had to do it over again, no. So they also asked them, Who has heard about Donald Trump falling asleep? Because we all know he's been falling asleep on camera during meetings. They played a montage for everybody of Trump falling asleep. Before they played the montage, though, 11 out of the 14 had already heard about it. And then they asked them, are you concerned about this at all? 10 out of the 14 said yes. And some of the comments were like, I think they're hiding something. I think he's too old. I think the party is being hypocritical because this was like a big deal with Joe Biden, but now, nobody's saying anything about it with Trump. 10 out of the 14 said that they are concerned about Donald Trump's health and stamina. So that is an issue for him. Then they asked them, do you think there's a reasonable chance that he won't be able to complete his term? They were more split on this. It was only 7 out of the 14 that said, yes, I am concerned. They also then asked them about Pete Hegseth. They showed them a photo, showed the two groups a photo, said, don't say anything. How many of you know who this is? Only 8 out of the 14 raised their hand. That is just bizarre to me, okay? One of them who raised their hand, though, out of the 8, thought that he was J.D. Vance. And they didn't know that he's been in the news, like, constantly lately. And this woman is one of the one who didn't know that and who thought it was J.D. Vance. She's one of the biggest Trump humpers in these two groups. So shocking, right? That she's a low information voter. And most of these people, even if they knew that he had been in the news, they didn't know what it was for. Some of them thought it had to do with immigration. So some of them don't even know that the Department of Defense has nothing whatsoever to do with the Department of Homeland Security and Immigration. This is how little they know about our government and how it works and how little attention they're paying. It's infuriating. They dump this psychopath on us, put him in a position of power, and then they just check out. Anyway, they also asked, do you approve or disapprove of the job that Hegseth is doing? 0. None of them approve. 4 out of the 14 said they disapprove. And then 10 out of the 14 said, I don't even know enough. I don't know enough to have an opinion. So like I said, the majority of these people, they vote and then they check out. It is, oh my God. I was livid listening to this. It's like, how dare you? These people are literally bombing random people in the middle of the ocean, and you don't even freaking pay attention to that? We're literally committing extrajudicial killings, murdering people who we don't even know for sure who they are. Some of them we know for a fact are just fishermen. Anyway, they also asked, are you less anxious or more anxious about the economy since Donald Trump took office? Here we go again, guys. 1 out of the 14 said that they're less anxious. I'll let you decide who that was. 12 out of the 14 said that they are more anxious now. And 1 out of the 14 said, I'm about the same. Take a listen to the reasons that some of them said that they're more anxious now.
Feel like, I hear a lot of, word salad, no action.
I mean, inflation. I'm making the same amount of money I did with Biden, and I'm spending 30% more.
Like you said, inflation. I'm broke.
Inflation as well. I think also his immigration policies make me anxious because I feel like, especially in our area, there are a lot of undocumented workers that help our economy run. And I think that is being jeopardized by his immigration policies.
Inflation, cost of living, and I feel he hasn't kept his word on a lot of things.
You don't say. So clearly not feeling this golden era that Donald Trump keeps talking about. And then they ask these people, as they always do, who do you think is more responsible right now for the current state of the economy? 2 out of 14 said Biden. Of course, the same woman who said she is less anxious now, the major Trump humper, she now blames Biden. It's like, what are you talking about? So you're less anxious, and that's because of Biden? So you're giving Biden the credit? Like, and then 12 out of the 14 blame Trump. So not good for Donald Trump. And check this out. So listen to what this Trump humper woman had to say about how Donald Trump has affected her business. So this is the woman who is like, Trump can do no wrong, still approve of him. I'm less anxious now than I was when he took office, but it's Biden's fault. And Donald Trump is just the greatest thing since sliced bread. Check this out.
A business, and I was actually notified of the effects of what it will cost to make and manufacture my product, and how it not only increased in the tariff and the shipping and getting all of the codes through customs, but now the country's retaliation from where I order from has now gone up, and it's caused many of businesses in my line of company to actually close. So I think that part of the inflation is strictly because of the tariffs. Not that inflation was not already there; it was already there. But recently we had to increase our costs due to tariffs and resupplying our product.
I don't even know what to say. And this woman said she still supports Donald Trump's tariffs. And she was one of the few who approves of how he's doing his job, like I said. So, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Some of these people, they get upset if you call them cult members. What else would you have us call you? He is hurting your business. He is causing your competitors to close down. Maybe that's why. Maybe she's happy. He's getting rid of the competition for her. But he's increasing your costs, harming your business. You say less anxious now about the economy, approve of his tariffs, even though he's hurting your business. I mean, some of them are beyond help. We just have to accept. So, like I said, we don't need all of them. She can, she can just figure it out eventually, I guess. But at least the majority of these people, not feeling it, not happy, do not agree that we are in the golden era, do not see how Donald Trump has stopped inflation. And yeah, they've turned on him. But again, if it comes down to him and Kamala Harris, they would still vote for him. So very nuanced. This is why I prefer focus groups over polling, because you really can drill down. You can't learn as much by saying, do you approve of the job Donald Trump is doing? Because so many of these people would still vote for him or would still vote for a Republican, depending on who the Democrats nominate. So that's the reason I like these focus groups, because you get that granular detail and information from the horse's mouth, from the horse faces. I'm just kidding. None of them had horse faces. I'm joking. All right. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.